Jimmy Kimmel was doing it. He was doing it too.
Yeah, he was doing it too.
Yeah. No, he was being accused of joking about it too.
So they were upset at him, even though he was attacking the appropriate person. He was doing it in a manner which is also construed as being transphobic. Like they were saying that his tweet is transphobic. He's a comic.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, he used to host the Man Show. I mean, he's done some pretty outrageous back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, for hee-hees and haw-haws.
No, that's a good joke on top of a good joke.
Yeah, it's a good joke. Funny thing to say. He's had a real problem with Elon from the beginning of this thing, but it's like he's in this leftist thought bubble. He is in the most leftist thought bubble available, which is Hollywood.
Joe Rogan isn't pulling any punches in his takedown of Jimmy Kimmel's latest fiasco. The late-night host flat-out smeared MAGA, and Rogan lit him up for shooting his mouth off without checking the facts. Rogan blasted how late-night comedy has morphed into a megaphone for leftist propaganda. And the burn was brutal. This wasn't just criticism. It was a full-on demolition. So, buckle up, because this one's going to be fire.
Sort of self-censorship and the idea of being a more empathetic person is a good thing, right? But as long as it's reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, the problem with that kind of stuff is it continues to go in the same direction where more and more things become forbidden and toxic to the point where, you know, the Elon Musk joking around about my pronouns are prosecute Fauci. Jimmy Kimmel made a tweet back to him. He said, your pronouns are ass and hole, which is pretty funny. But then,
did he really?
Yes. And so then I read that, and there was people saying, please don't joke about pronouns. It's transphobic to joke about pronouns. So they were chiding him for participating in a joke about pronouns.
So Kimmel, a self-proclaimed leftist, once landed in hot water with his own woke crowd after cracking jokes about pronouns. Rogan pointed out that this wasn't just hypocritical, it was downright problematic. You can't champion a cause and then turn around and mock it when it's convenient, especially if you're supposed to be a face of that movement. Sure, we all get that it was meant as a jab at Elon Musk, but let's be honest, Kimmel had 100 other ways to go after him. Instead, he chose to ridicule the very thing he publicly claims to stand for. Anyway, let's keep the clip rolling.
Too.
Yeah, he was doing it too.
Yeah. No, he was being accused of joking about it too.
So they were upset at him, even though he was attacking the appropriate person. He was doing it in a manner which is also construed as being transphobic. Like they were saying that his tweet is transphobic.
Do you think that was, in that case, do you think that's him or a writer? Can't you tell?
Jimmy Kimmel?
Yeah.
No, it's him for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
good. That's a good one.
He's a comic.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, he used to host the Man Show. I mean, he's done some pretty outrageous back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, for hee-hees and haw-haws.
No, that's a good joke on top of a good joke.
Yeah.
Yep. Jimmy Kimmel once co-hosted the Man Show, a raucous, no-hold-bread comedy series that thrived on edgy humor and didn't shy away from mocking every corner of society. Back then, Kimmel wasn't pushing politics or pandering to ideological camps. He was focused on raw, unapologetic entertainment. The show was bold, outrageous, and wildly successful, earning him a massive audience and cementing his name in comedy. It was that success that catapulted him onto ABC, where he eventually landed his own late-night talk show. But here's the kicker. Kimmel's earlier self would barely recognize the version we see today. Chained to politics instead of comedy.
He's had a real problem with Elon from the beginning of this thing, but it's like he's in this leftist thought bubble. He is in the most leftist thought bubble available, which is Hollywood. And, you know, and I think also, you know, he famously, there's some videos of him in blackface and those came out and he had apologized for them. And I think he took that hit and like really doubled down the other direction. I mean, that's just speculation. But he, you know, now is a guy that goes after people like Elon Musk.
I'm with Rogan on this one, especially when you look at the laundry list of ideologies and policies Jimmy Kimmel has thrown his weight behind over the years. He's gone all in on pushing vaccines, championing gender fluidity, and even backing the controversial notion of biological men competing in women's sports. Time and again, Kimmel has positioned himself as a megaphone for progressive agenda. never missing an opportunity to inject woke talking points into his platform. It's not comedy anymore. It's activism dressed up as late-night entertainment. And the irony is the very fans who once loved him for laughs now get lectures instead.
Elon is thought of as being, because he's willing to put people on with uncomfortable opinions, and he's releasing people that were banned from Twitter because of things that they had said. He's like, as long as you haven't done anything illegal, I'll let you back on.
No, yeah.
So he's doing a lot of that. So it's a lot of people are upset by that because then they think, well, you're platforming bigots and hateful people, and it's a weird conversation.
In that right, there is a glaring hypocrisy of the left. Not too long ago, they were the ones globally banning, censoring, and deplatforming anyone who dared to say something that made them uncomfortable. And guess who was cheering them on? Jimmy Kimmel. He wasn't just silently supportive. He actively piled on, even mocking Elon Musk for daring to champion free speech and hurling insults his way. Fast forward to the day, and suddenly Kimmel and his woke allies want to play the role of noble defenders of free expression. It's laughable. The same people who once persecuted others for speaking their minds now cry victim when the tables turn. Rogan unsurprisingly can't stomach the hypocrisy and calls it exactly what it is. Pathetic double standards wrapped in sanctimony.
A free speech believer. I think the way to counter someone's inappropriate, even someone like Kanye West, it says ridiculous anti-Semitic things. The way to counter that is to counter that with more thoughtful opinions on what he's saying and point out that what he's saying is inaccurate in many ways, hurtful in many ways. Like, point it out. Like, talk. Let's have discussion. Don't silence.
Kimmel is simply reaping the bitter harvest of what he and the woke crowd swed years ago. Back when censorship was fashionable, he stood shoulder to shoulder with the mob, mocking and silencing those who dare to challenge progressive orthodoxy. Instead of defending the principle of free speech, a value that protects everyone regardless of politics, he joined the crusade to shame, cancel, and deplatform voices he didn't agree with. Now the climate has shifted, and suddenly Kimmel finds himself on the receiving end of the very culture he helped empower. Had he taken a stand for free expression back then, even when it was unpopular, he might not be stuck in this corner today. Rogan's point is clear. You can't suppress voices for years and then cry foul when the hammer swings back in your direction.
Are you chilled? Are you in fear for the future of comedy and free speech?
Well, Will, first of all, I woke up this morning to the incredible shock that apparently TV shows are not guaranteed in our Constitution. I mean, wow. So that was tough to swallow. First,
Rob Schneider may joke his way through the chaos, but he hits the nail on the head when it comes to free speech. The First Amendment doesn't cover every scenario, especially not in the workplace. Between an employer and employee, free speech isn't absolute. A private company has every right to set boundaries on what its employees can and can't say, because at the end of the day, they're representing the brand. Step outside those boundaries, and you risk the consequences, including getting shown the door. That's exactly the reality Jimmy Kimmel faced. He thought he could say whatever he wanted without repercussions. But employers don't play by those rules. Schneider's point is sharp. The Constitution protects speech from government interference, not from corporate accountability. And in Kimmel's case, his missteps came back to bite him, proving that free speech in Hollywood is far from free.
still waiting for the left, the liberals, to get outraged about Roseanne getting fired for her free speech. And then I'm also waiting. I've been waiting a long time for the left and the Democrats, especially the Democrats on Capitol Hill, for the Twitter files that released that the Biden-Harris administration was actually using the government to pressure Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and especially Twitter to actually censor actual Americans through government pressure.
Well, sorry to disappoint, but you'll be waiting an eternity if you think the left will ever condemn the Biden-Harris administration for its role in pressuring ABC to axe Rose and Barr. That kind of accountability just isn't in their playbook. Instead, they act as if it never happened, brushing aside the obvious political meddling. And let's not forget, it wasn't just ABC. The Biden-Harris team leaned hard on major social media platforms, too, pushing to clamp down on voices they didn't like and aggressively police free speech under the guise of safety. Back then, the left applauded it, cheering on censorship as if it were noble. But fast forward to today, and suddenly they're the ones crying foul, pretending to be champions of open dialogue. The hypocrisy is breathtaking. When they silence others, it's justice. But when the tide turns, it's oppression. Rogan's right. They can't have it both ways.
Capitalist pressure. Capitalist pressure is really important because what happens is you have to make money or you have to do something of value so that you can get something in return. Now, the interesting thing is it's false advertising because honestly, I mean, look, Jimmy Kimmel can be funny, and I don't mean to take anything away from that. But the fact of the matter, can you remember a political joke that went viral, what was something really funny of his? There was no attempt in humor at all in what he said. And as a matter of fact, it was a lie. Now, as you pointed to, Will, since the 1960s, you have to get a license to broadcast. This isn't Netflix. This isn't cable. This is broadcast TV.